सुभाष अरुण अरविंद थापा, शिप्रा जी, सुभाष अरुण अरविंद थापा चांदपुरी विक्रम निर्मल है नाम बड़े, है नाम बड़े अनजाने से जो अनजानों के लिए लड़े। ये भूल नहीं अब जाना है, ये भूल नहीं अब जाना है, इस बिखरे बहके जीवन में मिट्टी का तिलक लगाना है, एक लक्ष्य तुम्हें भी पाना है, एक लक्ष्य तुम्हें भी पाना है, अमर शहीदों को अब ध्याना है, तुमको ही भारत के भविष्य को, तुमको ही भारत के भविष्य को इन वीरों से मिलवाना है, ये भूल नहीं अब जाना है। बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं मैं और शिप्रा जी आपका आज सृजनी के पटल पर। और शिप्रा जी, बहुत बड़ा दिन है आज, हम 1971 की बात कर रहे हैं, तो कैसा है आपके लिए 1971 की जो यादें हैं, जो कहानियां आपने सुनी है?
बिल्कुल प्राची, हमारे लिए सृजनी के लिए गौरव के क्षण है कि हम इन पलों को पुनः सेलिब्रेट कर सकते हैं। सेलिब्रेशन तो नहीं कहूंगी, एक विजय का दिवस था हमारे लिए ये, और लेकिन बहुत बलिदान भी हुए थे, बहुत सारी अत्याचार थे जिनके बाद हमने ये स्वतंत्रता पाई थी या बांग्लादेश अलग राज्य के रूप में स्थापित हुआ था। तो कहीं कष्ट दुख तो है ही, लेकिन उसके साथ जो खुशी एक जीत की होती है, एक मानवता की जीत की होती है, वो खुशी हमारे अंदर हमेशा रहती है। और आज का जो उद्देश्य है 1971 वॉर का, जो हम पूरा एक सीरीज लेकर 10 एपिसोड्स की लेकर आए हैं, उसके पीछे जो उद्देश्य है उसे 4 पंक्तियों में तुमसे कहना चाहूंगी, आप सभी से कहना चाहूंगी कि 71 के महासमर की गाथा तुम्हें सुनाना है, 71 के महासमर की गाथा तुम्हें सुनाना है, नापाक पाक के अत्याचारों का कुत्सित रूप दिखाना है, नापाक पाक के अत्याचारों का कुत्सित रूप तुम्हें दिखाना है, बेबस लाचार कोमल जन को जब रौंदा पाक के हाथों ने, बेबस लाचार कोमल जन को जब रौंदा पाक के हाथों ने, भारत के वीर सपूतों ने, भारत के वीर सपूतों ने फिर कुचला पाक को कैसे था, फिर कुचला पाक को कैसे था, वीरों की गौरव गाथा का वो गर्जन तुम्हें सुनाना है, वीरों की गौरव गाथा का वो गर्जन तुम्हें सुनाना है। तो इस गर्जन को सुनाने के लिए मुझे लगता है जो हमारे आज के महनीय उपस्थिति हैं, जो हमारे महनीय हमारे अतिथि हैं, हम चाहेंगे कि उनके ही द्वारा हम ये जाने इस गाथा की, क्योंकि जितनी सत्यता से, जितने सही रूप में वो हमें बता सकते हैं, और हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे, हमारे आने वाली पीढ़ियां और हम स्वयं भी उन घटनाओं से, उन 1971 में जो भी घटनाक्रम हुए थे, उनसे हम सब उन सबको जान सके। तो इसलिए बिल्कुल प्राची,
बिल्कुल बहुत सही बात करी। तो सबसे पहले इस क्रम में मैं उन्हें बुलाती हूँ जिन्होंने हमें इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट के लिए गाइड किया, मोटिवेट किया और ये कहा कि बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है, और एक बहुत अच्छा एक स्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करने में हेल्प करी, क्योंकि बड़ा मुश्किल होता है इतने बड़े वॉर की कहानी को कुछ मिनट के एपिसोड्स में ला पाना। तो जो हमारे को ढालने में जिन्होंने हेल्प करी, सबसे पहले मैं उनका स्वागत करती हूँ with lots of respect and honor. We are very very proud to have Lieutenant General B.K. Chaturvedi amongst us today. सर, बहुत स्वागत है आपका पुनः सृजनी के पटल पर, और बहुत आभार कि इस सीरीज को कंसेप्चुअलाइज करने में आपने हमें गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड करी सर।
Thank you very much, Prachi, Shipra. In fact, it is both of you who has motivated me and also motivating lakhs and crores of people of India, Bangladesh and all over the world.
Very kind of you, sir. That's really kind of you. And आज हमारा मोटिवेशन डबल हो गया है, क्योंकि हमारे पास हमारे एक बांग्लादेश वॉरियर भी जुड़े हैं।
क्या बात है,
बिल्कुल, विद लॉट ऑफ प्राइड एंड ऑनर मैं अब रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ मेजर जनरल रफीक को, इनवाइट करते हैं उन्हें। सर, वेलकम टू सृजनी। It's your debut today on Srijni. We are so honored to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank first my good friend, my NDC friend, General Chaturvedi, whom I respect. Like
it's my honor, Rafiq sir, to have you on the show.
Unforgettable days of my stay in Raksha Bhavan and with your family.
Yes.
Besides that, I'd like to thank these two young ladies, Shipra and Prachi. your outstanding effort to put this particular stories of the Indo-Pak subcontinent of 1971, which remain unknown to many people of the world. I'm sure I wish all the very success that this series of the efforts put across among the people, those who are from particularly the subcontinent, and also from the other part of the world, those who love human, love the values of life, love the peace and coexistence. And I'm eager to participate in all your program, if you want me to.
So we are honored that you said that.
Yeah, honor and
I'm really
we would
excited.
love.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And thank you very much once again, the great organization and particularly these two young ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, that you have taken time to just come here and just spoke about these very important 1971 war. So we are really obliged to find you here. So it's really honor for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we are trying to collate the series in several different episodes. जिसमें हम 10 episodes लाएंगे. Audience की जानकारी के लिए बता दूं. आज हम सुनेंगे कहानी कि कैसे ये जो वॉर है इसकी शुरुआत हुई. बिफोर द वॉर स्टार्टेड क्या स्टेट थी बांग्लादेश में और कैसे मुक्ति जोधा, जिसे हम भारत में मुक्ति वाहिनी के नाम से जानते हैं, उनकी क्या कहानी है. तो शिप्रा जी शुरू करें आज का सिलसिला.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल शुरू करते हैं. और मुक्ति जोधा की बात आपने कही प्राची, तो मुक्ति जोधा के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताऊंगी. जोधा मतलब सेनानी, जो जवान होते हैं उनको योद्धा का एक अपभ्रंश, वॉरियर. तो स्वतंत्रता के लिए जो जवान लड़ गए उनके बारे में ये गाथा है उनकी. और हम शुरू करेंगे. हम बिल्कुल समय नहीं गंवाना चाहते क्योंकि हमारे साथ लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल वी के चतुर्वेदी सर हैं, तो हम उन्हीं से सुनना चाहेंगे. उनका आंखों देखा वो बताएंगे हम लोगों को जो भी. तो मैं सबसे पहले सर यही जानना चाहती हूँ कि भारत और बांग्लादेश को में 1971 युद्ध की क्या भूमिका रही, क्या रोल था उसका, क्या इम्पोर्टेंस थी. सबसे पहले तो यही शुरुआत, कहाँ से शुरुआत.
Basically, जो 1971 war is one of the few examples, I'll say, in fact, the only example, the war which was fight for righteousness, the war which was fought for humanity, the war which was fought to establish the real democracy, war which was fought to establish self-determination, and war which was fought on ethics. This is something unbelievable that the war which both are very dear friends and colleagues and warriors from Bangladesh and Indian Armed Forces fought together to establish एक धर्म का राज्य, न्याय के जो अन्याय हो रहा था वहां पे ह्यूमैनिटी के ऊपर, और ऑल्सो एक प्रजातंत्र को एस्टेब्लिश करने के लिए जो वहां पे इलेक्शंस हुए थे उनका बिल्कुल खुले आम विरोध तो नहीं कहूंगा, वो बिल्कुल एकदम उनकी धज्जियां उड़ाई जा रही थी वो रिजल्ट्स की. तो इस सब के अगेंस्ट जो बांग्लादेश के मुक्ति जोधास और बाकी वहां की पूरी जनता और इंडियन आर्म फोर्सेस ने जो मिलकर ये लड़ाई लड़ी, ये एक उदाहरण है पूरे विश्व के लिए दैट यू कैन फाइट अ वॉर फॉर राइटियसनेस टू एस्टेब्लिश द रूल ऑफ लॉ एंड यू कैन विन इट बिकॉज वी वर ऑन द राइट साइड ऑफ एथिक्स, मोरालिटी. There was nothing that could stop us from winning this war. This started after the election in Pakistan, in which Sheikh Mujib Awami League won a handsome victory. It was unbelievable. And despite that, the people, Yahya Khan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, they decided not to hand over the powers to Sheikh Mujib. And that's how the beginning of the war started, actually a little earlier, but 25th March is the recorded thing where they established themselves, 17th April, the government was established in Mujibnagar, which later shifted to Kolkata, and Sheikh Mujib was put in jail, but he was the actual president, and others were made acting, Tajuddin Ahmad and others. They started creating a group, Mukti Jodhas and the Indian Army together started a war to establish the rule of law, democracy, and self-determination for the people of Bangladesh. The war was against the inhuman treatment by the Pakistan Army on the women, the young, the aged person of Bangladesh. This was something which will remain in the hearts and minds of lakhs and lakhs of people who were there, either in India or in Bangladesh, and some of the countries of the world. They were mere spectators to this, I'll say, assault on human values.
Absolutely.
बिल्कुल सही कहा सर आपने। और सबसे बड़ा ये नरसंहार 1971 का 25 मार्च को ये पूरे विश्व में दर्ज भी है, कह सकते हैं कि लिखा गया है। और बहुत बहुत अच्छे से आपने बताया शुरुआत इसके बारे में। और प्राची आगे बहुत सारी और बातें हैं, तो लेकिन 2 पंक्तियां कहूंगी, उसके बाद आऊंगी कि जीवन उनका नहीं सार्थक जो डर डर कर जीते हैं, जीवन उनका नहीं सार्थक जो डर डर कर जीते हैं, जीवन उनका जो निर्भय होकर हर संकट से लड़ते हैं। तो सर की बातों से यही लगा कि अपनी मानवीयता के लिए, अपने अधिकारों के लिए हर इंसान को आगे बढ़कर लड़ना चाहिए, बढ़ना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल। और इसी बात पे जो कमाल की आपने लाइनें अभी कही हैं, जिस शक्ति की बात करी है, अब मैं स्वागत करती हूँ मेजर जनरल रफीक का कि सर यू हैव you witnessed the whole epic battles, the war of 1971. आपने उसे देखा है अपने young years में, you've felt the pain and you've seen। मुझे सबसे कमाल की बात ये लगती है कि बांग्लादेश में अगर हम पार्टीशन की बात करूं मैं 47 की, तो पंजाब और बांग्ला ये 2 इलाके थे जिन पे सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट हुआ था। So it was already in a state where we were trying to economically, socially uplift ourselves, and उस टाइम पे एक ऐसा political debalance आना, इतना बड़ा human massacre होना, वहां से खुद को pull up करके coming out, as a national hero and fighting for your independence is a big victory. It's like pulling yourself out of the worst situations and emerging victorious. So I would love to know more about your experiences, your knowledge, sir, and more importantly, the role of Mukti Jodhas. How was that formed? How did that come together? Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Prachi. It's a great pleasure, and this year we are celebrating the 50 years of our War of Liberation. This coincidence, I think, is a great history for us, particularly with me and Jan Chaturvedi. As you mentioned, that ever since the partition days, 1947, there were a lot of hopes and aspiration, despite of the fact that East Bengal, the then East Pakistan, had majority of the population of Pakistan, 56%. But we are never given the rights of our, the democracy or democratic values. Otherwise, I would say that Pakistan had never been a democratic country. It had been always under autocracy and martial law under military people. So that's why the basic fundamental rights were always, denied. And we fell the victim of repression. I'm very sorry to say that right from the beginning of 1947, Mr. Jinnah's 2 nations theory started proving wrong. The religion and the other part cannot be the common factor of the common bondage of the humanity or the statehood. So this has proved to be absolutely false in case of the East Pakistan, for that matter, what Bangladesh today. And we are always deprived. For the first time, the general election was held in 1970, what Jan Chakravarti has said. And Bangladeshi people, the East Pakistani people, took the right decision to vote for our rights. You'll be surprised to know, out of 169 National Assembly seats, we won 167. So this is
amazing.
Absolutely puzzled. So right from the beginning, they have been delaying. They have been making conspiracy with Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Yahya Khan, and other all people. They planned much ahead that they would not hand over the power to our elected people. This was a communication gap, I would say, as a young man when I was a student of 11th class. And in the name of delaying the time and the negotiation, talk, etc., they have been mastering the forces. They have been training the troops and pumping in the other arsenals and making ready for a real crackdown. And final blow came in on 25th March. Sheikh Mujib was arrested and the atrocities began. The atrocities began on the common people of Bangladesh, unarmed people, ladies, women, children, labor, students, and whatnot. They started looting our properties, setting fire on the households, and forcefully, the entire Bangladesh was under panic, finding no other alternatives. Millions of people, 10 to 12 million people, they started taking shelter all around the border areas, particularly the surrounding states of India, West Bengal, Assam, Meghalaya, and Tripura. My gratefulness would not end there. If I just say we are grateful, we express our solidarity, or we are saying that we remain grateful, this will be too small a kind of compliments for the people of those areas and people of India. Particularly, I admire the great leadership of the then Prime Minister of India, Mrs. Gandhi. Her leadership was simply outstanding in 3-4 folds. First, it was for her a big challenge to give shelter to these landless people, those who are oppressed, those who lost everything of their life. Then managing their accommodations, encountering the disease in the camp areas, food crisis, etc. and whatnot. Second thing was making a decision that what would happen in case of Bangladesh. Would India come to help Bangladesh organizing the Mukti Jodhas, what we call is the freedom fighters, and how India would come in the help of the humanity vis-a-vis military help. These are very complicated issues. A civilian leader like Mrs. Gandhi, I admire, took the right decision. She handled the policy making in 4 or 5 fronts. First was help the humanity, give shelter to the people, arrange their food, their treatment, then arranging the military help, giving training to the Mukti Jodhas, supplying arms, establishing training camps, and organizing the defected soldier of East Pakistan, the East Bengal Regiment soldiers, East Pakistan Rifle soldiers, those who are Bengali soldiers, police, then paramilitary forces, and at last the volunteers. So all these things went very hurriedly. As Jan Chakravarti has said, the Prime Minister designated was Mr. Tajuddin Ahmad, in absence of the Bangabandhu, the father of the nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. On 10th of April, he made a first broadcast to the nation that we are here in exile, forming the government. He met Mrs. Gandhi on 4th with the help of the BSF chief. And I must remember and mention the names of the advisor, Mr. P.N. Haksar. All these great people helped Mrs. Gandhi to formulate policy helping the Bangladeshi people in distress condition. Then the second phase started when Pakistani forces was able to capture the entire area of Bangladesh. So the resistance forces, particularly the regular forces, those who revolted against Pakistan army, they crossed over to India, particularly to Tripura, Meghalaya, and West Bengal, Dhubri, etc. So they established their military camps, and these camps were augmented by the direct Indian help. So this continued for 4, 5, 6 weeks. In the month of June, the final philosophy of fighting the war of liberation from the exile government in Bangladesh came in. And there was a meeting in Calcutta, in the Hare Road, where the exile government was having their office. All the sector commanders were present. And the commander-in-chief of the Liberation Force was, in fact, he was a retired full colonel, Colonel M.A.G. Osmani, Muhammad Atal Ghori Osmani. So the entire country was divided into 11 sectors. And somewhat the command and control was established and the people started the guerrilla warfare. Basically, it started from sometime in the mid of July. And the first batch of the commission officers, they started getting training from this time, I think, for about 12 weeks. There's a place called Mukti near Bhutan border. So they are commissioned. And the leadership in the field started coming in from the volunteers of the Bangladeshi young people. There were about 70 people. And from there, one was the son of the father of the nation, Captain Kamal. But after the liberation, he left the army. And unfortunately, in 1975, with the entire family, he was also killed. And then subsequently, I'll tell about the other factors. But this was the shaping of, how the Mukti Bahinis was first organized. Basically, Mukti Bahinis were the first front, the regular forces, but their number was very less because they were the armed people. They are the East Bengal Regiment soldiers, then armed police, and the East Pakistan Rifle soldiers. But number of volunteers increased overnight. It crossed few lakhs. And Indian authority and in fact Bangladesh authority, those who are maintaining the camps, they are unable to give them the required training because of the shortage of the space and time. And this is how it began. But their atrocities did not stop. I do not know whether General Chaturvedi has told you or not. I fell victim, I mean, my family fell victim. I lost my father. My father was brutally killed by the Pakistanis. He was picked up and we never got his dead body even. So these are the common stories of all Bangladeshi people. Somewhere they are badly affected. Our houses were burned into ashes. My mother with 3 children, they were nowhere. They were, I don't remember exactly how the days and night passed in the remote village areas with no money. With the help of the common people of the village, they help us. At the end of the day, I would say it is the Almighty was very kind to us, and we got the help of the Indian people, Indian population, Indian government, and above all, I again, time and again say, it was Mrs. Gandhi's leadership. Had there had not been Mrs. Gandhi or somebody else, I actually do not know whether the liberation of Bangladesh would have come so quickly. I stop now, and subsequently I will answer any of my other questions.
Thank you for sharing such great insights, sir. And आपकी अपनी जो personal story है, your story of loss is actually a story an entire generation in Bangladesh has been through. So we are very sorry to hear about this, but at the same point of time, like I said before, कि ये वो देश है जिसने खुद को ashes से उठाकर victory दिलाई है. और भारत के लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है कि जैसे जनरल चतुर्वेदी ने कहा कि उस एथिक्स के वॉर में हम आपके साथ थे. बहुत बहुत सैल्यूट है आप दोनों को. एंड a lot of our audience are commenting, they were very eagerly waiting for this series. तो विमलेश शुक्ला जी हैं, उनका मैसेज आया, he's really intrigued by the conversation and उनको याद आ रहा है seeing prisoners of wars, पाकिस्तान के in Allahabad. Colonel Kaushal Chaturvedi has joined us. Rajiva Bhargav ji has joined us. Sarita Chaturvedi ji has joined us, and Amritla ma'am has joined us. Poonam Shukla ji hain, wo judi hui hain. A lot of people, sir. Bansita Shukla ji. The reason we take out these names, sir, is to tell you that there's so many people here who are actively listening to you. It's like you're in all their hearts and living rooms right now. They're watching you. And they're very grateful कि ये जो कहानियां हैं आप हमें बता रहे हैं, ये हमारा हिस्ट्री की जो कहानी है वो आप हमें बता रहे हैं। शिप्रा जी क्या कहती हैं आप? म्यूट हटा के बोलिए तो मजा आएगा।
मैं सच में मूक हूँ, जिस तरह से सर ने बताया, रफीक सर ने बताया हम लोगों को, कैसा रहा होगा वो दृश्य, सोच भी नहीं सकते शायद हम लोग। आपने तो देखा है उसको। और उस समय अभी मैं एक पोस्टर देख रही थी प्राची, तो उस पर लिखा हुआ था कि बांग्लार मायेरा मायेरा एक सकलई मुक्ति योद्धा, महिलाओं के लिए और बच्चों के लिए कहा गया था। बांग्ला में, मेरी बांग्ला तो अच्छी नहीं है उतनी, लेकिन मैंने ये कहीं पढ़ा था कि बांग्ला की माएं और लड़कियां सभी मुक्ति योद्धा हैं। तो क्या जज्बा रहा होगा, कितना जोश रहा होगा उस समय उन लोगों के अंदर, और कितना अत्याचार हुआ होगा, कितना दबाया गया होगा, जो इस तरह से पूरे समाज ने मिलकर, चाहे वो आर्म फोर्सेस हो, चाहे आपके जैसा बताया उन्होंने कि आम नागरिक हो या स्वयंसेवी संगठन हो, शायद ही कोई ऐसा रहा होगा जिसने पूर्वी पाकिस्तान के में रहने वाले व्यक्ति ने उस मुक्ति योद्धा में आकर अपना योगदान न दिया हो। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी बात है। और सच में, और वहां पे उसका आज भी आप प्रमाण देख सकते हैं। वहां पे एक सामूहिक कब्र बनी हुई है। सब बता सकते हैं कि वहां पे आज भी उसका वो बताती है कि किस तरह का अत्याचार हुआ था, कितने लोग मारे गए थे, कितना मैं शायद शब्दों में नहीं बता सकती हूँ। मैं थोड़ी इमोशनल पर्सन हूँ, तो थोड़ा अलग हो जाता है मेरा। लेकिन मैं सर से जानना चाहूंगी, मैं लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल वी के चतुर्वेदी सर से जानना चाहूंगी कि व्हेन यू टॉक टू अ यंगेस्ट चाइल्ड of this generation, what are some of the key values you pass on to them, and what did the experience leave you behind? क्या होता है, क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप उनसे, या क्या महसूस करते हैं आप जब उनसे बात करते हैं?
Shipra ji, you have asked a very, very important question.
Thank you.
It is basically whatever we do today, we leave footprints for the next generation to follow. And I'll just narrate. General Rafiq has very, very well illustrated the situation at that point of time. There were many more atrocities which I saw. We crossed into Bangladesh for the first time on 20th November. And we saw a number of bunkers, a number of small cities, villages. Tale of atrocities was visible. Even today, when I think of those almost a month which I was inside Bangladesh, more than a month, I think almost 40, 45 days. We came out on 1st January 72. It was inhuman acts committed by this most irresponsible army, which even today I call Pakistan Army the most non-professional army. I can use a harsh word because I have been using that, a rogue army. And that is the reason for their downfall. The soldiers are all good, but being led by very corrupt people, people who have no ethics, people who believe in atrocities, inhuman acts. And I don't want to, because most of our sisters and mothers of Bangladesh have gone through the worst from these most unsoldierly soldiers. So that was something which I will want to leave it to the next generation. The biggest thing is the nation first, and which learn from a small country like Bangladesh, which had more population than the West Pakistan. But they were not getting their due. They fought for their rights. Yes. Fight for your rights. That's the most important message or what I want to my next generation to know, that don't take it lying down, fight for your rights and learn from Bangladesh. They have done it.
Yes.
They were very small in terms of comparison. If you think 6-7 battalions, that's all. But each and every young boy, young girl of Bangladesh that time was a Mukti Jodha, which you just covered in that 2 lines of yours. That was absolute truth. I'll give you an example. When we landed in Sylhet, we were heli-dropped behind enemy lines on 6th, 7th and 7th, 8th December, basically to speed up the operations. I had gone with 2 of my guns, 75-24 millimeter guns. That time, very mountain guns, they used to be called, and about 120 rounds of ammunition. Out of those 120 rounds of ammunition, because the pilot of the Mi-4 helicopter could not locate the correct dropping area, they dropped some of our ammunition near the radio station in Sylhet. One of my JCO, Subhadar Prabhati Lal, who was with that group, he immediately contacted, which was a good about 10 to 12 kilometers from where we were. This JCO, he didn't know Bengali much, but was able to converse because we had the sympathies and support of these locals, contacted them, and during the night, we had landed there at about 2:30 in the night. During the night, on the rickshaw, the normal rickshaw that they put that ammunition, 7-8 rickshaws brought the ammunition and guided them to where we were without being noticed by the enemy. Anywhere, we were surrounded by almost a brigade of Pakistan army, but they were fighting an immoral battle, and that's why the God also helps the local population, the Mukti Jodhas, which I say the each and every young man and women of Bangladesh that time was a Mukti Jodha. So they brought the cycle rickshaw brought our ammunition back to our guns. 120 rounds, out of which also we had lost almost about 50-60 rounds, which came because of the people cooperation. The second is the human values. They give you strength if you follow, if you respect humanity, if you respect the human values, if you respect the young children, the elders, the women, you will get the respect of the people. And these are ethical, moral values which we are all taught. We were taught even in schools and then while under the training also. It is part of our curriculum as Army when I was under training at NDA and IMA. We were taught these ethics. We were following the Geneva Convention. The Pakistanis did not. But despite all that, when on 16th of December, the Pakistanis had surrendered 93,000 soldiers of Pakistan. Once they had surrendered their arms, we acted like soldiers and ensured that, because there was so much of anger against these people in Bangladesh that point of time, if we had left them even for 2 hours, most of them would have been lynched. But we ensured that they got protection. Not one. You see what has happened in Afghanistan by one of the strongest nation of the world. The way they left. But here was an example. And General Rafiq will bear with me. The anger at that point of time against the Pakistan forces was too much. We had to pacify our brothers and sisters in Bangladesh to see that they do not harm these unarmed people. And we brought all 93,000 back and ultimately returned them to Pakistan. Because once a soldier is unarmed, he has to be treated with respect as per Geneva Convention. And we followed it.
Didi, allow me to speak for a minute.
Yes.
Please, sir.
Sure, sir.
Last part I have not mentioned, which I kept pending for it. This is very outstanding and very unique that the countries of the other country fight for the liberation of another country. It exactly happened in case of Bangladesh. The Indian Defense Forces soldiers, they sacrificed their life for the cause of the liberation of Bangladesh. It's about 4,000 troops, they laid down their lives. For what? For the cause of humanity, for the values of the democracy, for the protest against the atrocities. These actually establish the deep-rooted friendship between Bangladesh and India. Bangladeshi people will always remain grateful, and I firmly commit that as a grateful nation, Bangladesh and India will prosper side by side. Today, the Bangladeshi per capita income is almost touching India. This is a great victory for us. I mean, it's something very great that when our per capita was 1/4 of the Indian per capita, out of 50 years, our per capita income is now almost touching India. So this is what is the contribution of helping the other nations. Today, our GDP and particularly the women power empowerment is one of the highest in the world.
Yes.
The life expectancy from 1947 to 71 onwards, what was 47 only, now it has increased to 71%. So what are these indications? The indication is that these are the fruits of the independence of any country, or for that matter, Bangladesh, and for which we are greatly grateful for the contribution. Particularly I being a soldier, I being the military officer, I acknowledge and greatly value the contributions of the Indian soldier, Defense Forces soldier. And rightly, our Prime Minister, few years back, being present your the 26th January parade, your Republican Day parade, they honored all these heroes of the Indian soldiers, those who sacrificed for their gallows. And I feel very satisfied that at least, if not fully, some kind of recognition that from the country as part of the Prime Minister, we have recognized their contribution. Thank you, General Chaturvedi.
Together we will, General Rafiq, and together we will rise. And look at Pakistan. They are dying for food today. They are in heavy debt. Nobody in the world today wants to give them loan. So you see, when you are on the right side of ethics, morals, you stand firm on your ground and you rise. So there is no question that Bangladesh, by and large, I'll say that they are a breed apart, more inclined to our Bengal, West Bengal. They are very fond of music, highly illiterate people. They believe in education. They believe in good things of life. They believe in helping others, in human values, in soldierly qualities. And that's why you see the cricket team is also it's something like it's a passion in India. It's a passion in Bangladesh also.
So
all these things I am, and I have no doubt, together we will win, together we will rise, together we will reach the top.
बिल्कुल सर, जो सही होता है वो हमेशा सही ही होता है, उसको आप गलत कभी कह ही नहीं सकते। तो वो सही अपने 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 लिए जीना, अपने अधिकारों के लिए जीना सच में। और इसीलिए कहते हैं कि जब देश की आन पे आती है तो हर बच्चा बच्चा सैनिक बन जाता है। तो कुछ ऐसे ही भाव रहे होंगे उस समय, अभी भी होता है। जब भी कोई भी इस तरह की स्थितियां आती हैं तो हम लोग इसी तरह की एक जज्बा जग जाता है अपने देश के। चाहे हम बाहर बैठे हुए हैं, चाहे प्राची कनाडा में है, चाहे मैं जर्मनी में हूँ या अमेरिका में कोई हो, लेकिन देश के प्रति ये भावना का होना बहुत जरूरी है। बहुत जितना भी हम लोग धन्यवाद कहें आपको सच में कम होगा। और कुछ पंक्तियां जरूर कहना चाहूंगी प्राची यहाँ पर, क्योंकि लिखती हूँ और शायद शब्दों से अच्छा काव्य में कह पाती हूँ अपनी बात को। तो 4 पंक्तियां सिर्फ ऐसी ही कि जिनके लहू के कण कण में देश प्रेम बहता है, जिनके लहू के कण कण में देश प्रेम बहता है, अत्याचारों को जो अत्याचारों को जो मन देखकर कभी नहीं सहता है, अत्याचारों को देखकर जो मन कभी नहीं सहता है, आगे बढ़कर हाथ थामता निर्बल और लाचारों का, आगे बढ़कर हाथ थामता निर्बल और लाचारों का, देश नमन करता है उनको, देश नमन करता है उनको, वो सैनिक हर दिल में बसता है। तो सच बात है, दिल में बसते हैं वो। और वो थी प्राची।
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत प्यारी बात कही आपने शिप्रा जी। और इसी नोट पे मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ मेजर जनरल रफीक का और लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल चतुर्वेदी का। और ये जो एक पूरा हम आयोजन कर रहे हैं 10 एपिसोड सीरीज, उसका ब्रीफली मैं आपको उसका रूपरेखा भी दिखा दूं ताकि जो हमारे ऑडियंस है वो इससे अवेयर रहें। तो आज आप एपिसोड 1 विटनेस कर रहे हैं, विच इज अ स्टोरी ऑफ बांग्लादेश एंड मुक्ति जोधास। एंड आई होप everyone watching, you go back, you use your smartphones, Google, find out more about them, find out more about Mukti Jodhas and the pains of Bangladesh, why they went into war, why they decided to take the step. Then we will have, the next topic will be about how the war started. तो अगले हफ्ते शिप्रा जी मिलेंगी आपको, और मैं छुट्टी पर हूँ अगले हफ्ते, तो शिप्रा जी आपको बताएंगी कि वॉर शुरू कैसे हुआ। और सैम बहादुर जो है हमारे फील्ड मार्शल सैम मारिक शॉन का जो रोल था इस पूरे वॉर को स्ट्रेटेजाइज करने में जो गवर्नमेंट के साथ, तो उसकी बात हम करेंगे। देन वील हैव 3 एपिसोड्स प्योरली ऑन द वॉर व्हिच इज फॉट ऑन द वेस्ट फ्रंट एंड द ईस्ट फ्रंट, उस पर हम बात करेंगे। और उसमें जो बैटल्स हुई हैं, चाहे वो जरपाल हो, चाहे वो भुज में हुआ हो, चाहे वो लोंगेवाल जिसमें आपने बॉर्डर पिक्चर देखी है, तो उन सब कहानियों को हम लेके आएंगे। सिलेट की बात करिए, और कमाल की बात यह है कि जिन्होंने सिलेट में जाके वॉर लड़ा वो खुद हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, तो you'll hear it from the soldier who was there in the field. और उसके बाद नेवी की बात करेंगे। The next 2 episodes 6 and 7 will focus on Operation Trillion Python, PNS गाजी, जो आपने राजी मूवी में उसके बारे में देखा था कि कैसे आपने ये सुना है कि हमें पता कैसे पड़ा कि वो आईएनएस विक्रांत को अटैक करने वाले, उसके बाद की कहानी बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है कि गाजी को उड़ाया कैसे। ये बहुत कमाल की स्टोरी है, तो ये सुनने जरूर आइएगा। और कराची हार्बर के बारे में। एंड देन द लास्ट 2 एपिसोड, द सेकंड लास्ट 2 एपिसोड 8 and 9 विल फोकस ऑन द स्टोरीज ऑफ द एयरफोर्स। एयरफोर्स का बहुत क्रूशियल रोल था इस पूरी जर्नी में, उसको दर्शाएंगे हम इन 2 कहानियों में। और एक फिनाले होगा, क्योंकि सृजनी है, कवि है, तो काव्य पाठ से इसका फिनाले करेंगे। हमारे जितने गेस्ट हमें ज्वाइन करेंगे सीरीज में, उन सबको हम ऑनर करेंगे, वी इनवाइट देम, एंड फिर हमें अपनी कविताएं सुनाएंगे और उसको उनकी प्रतिक्रियाएं लेंगे। इसी के साथ मैं बस ये कहना चाहूंगी कि आपने बहुत अच्छे से बताया हमें आज कि क्यों जानना जरूरी है हमारी जनरेशन को, हमारे बच्चों को अपनी हिस्ट्री के बारे में। और तुम स्वयं अपने हाथों की लकीरें मिटा नहीं सकते, तुम स्वयं अपने हाथों की लकीरें मिटा नहीं सकते, कच्ची इतिहास की नींव पे मजबूत भविष्य बना नहीं सकते। है जरूरी कि आत्मबल और राष्ट्रीय गौरव भरा हो जीवन में, है जरूरी कि आत्मबल, खुद पे भरोसा, खुद का बल और राष्ट्रीय गौरव भरा हो जीवन में। मजबूत मन और पक्के इरादे वालों को दुश्मन कभी हरा नहीं सकते, ये हमने देखा बांग्लादेश में। तो वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल सर। और चलते चलते शिप्रा जी ने एक बहुत सुंदर प्रयास किया है सृजनी की पूरी टीम की तरफ से। शी इज कम विद एन एक्सीलेंट vote of thanks and gratitude to honor the work that you've done. So we are presenting to both of you, sir, or certificates will follow, but we present to you with a lot of joy and happiness the Swarnim Samman, Srijni Swarnim Samman of 2021.
Thank you.
And
even Mukti Jodhas were part of the Air Force as well as the Navy also.
That's why we need to have General Rafiq back again.
Yes.
So we're presenting there's a little video to, हम physically नहीं present, तो एक video के through हम ये आपको convey कर रहे हैं sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, sir.
And I know General Chaturvedi शायद disconnect हो गए, but it's an absolute honor to have you here today, General Rafiq. Thank you so much for sharing all the insights with us, sir. And with this, शिप्रा जी, हम अब चलते हैं. आज हमने सोचा था 30 मिनट में प्रोग्राम करेंगे, थोड़ा टाइम लगा पर मजा बहुत आया, एक कहानी जानने को मिली. और फिर मिलेंगे अगले हफ्ते शिप्रा जी के साथ.
थैंक यू सो मच प्राची, इतना अच्छा एपिसोड पूरा तैयार करने के लिए, क्योंकि आंखों देखा सुनना बिल्कुल अलग अनुभव होता है हमारे लिए. और थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन जो भी जिन्होंने हमारे साथ आज ज्वाइन किया है इस एपिसोड में. नेक्स्ट थर्सडे हम फिर इसी समय एक नई कहानी के साथ आएंगे. 1971 को और करीब से जानेंगे और पास से जानेंगे. तब तक के लिए
धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया, बाय बाय एंड जय हिंद के वीर.